we put this together for you to ask questions. So welcome to ShiftCo. These free community events are our way of serving you. There's no pitch or anything like that. It's just basically we care greatly about growing your business, and we provide lots of ways to help you do that. And if you ever decide to join us, we'd love to have you, but it's not necessary. We do a couple of different types of events. This is what we call a business fuel training event. So it's around your business. We also have networking events. I highly recommend the Gather and Grow event on August 15th. You'll get lots of ideas and you'll meet a lot of people. Those are usually our highest attended events. There's usually anywhere from 60 to 90 people there. And then we also have personal fuel training. So on August 22nd, one of our master teachers is talking about searching for your purpose. So feel free to join us for any of those events. What ShiftCo does is we train conscious entrepreneurs how to grow your business and maximize your impact. Conscious entrepreneur is just simply somebody that is trying to do good and make money. We've had tremendous results. We've been doing this for 5 years. And as of July of this year, 88.9% of the founders using our platform doubled their revenue. And we believe when you double a business, you triple its impact. Needless to say, we want to triple the impact of conscious founders because you're up to something that's amazing. My background is I've had multiple large exits, which means I've sold the business that I was leading, including doing one of those through what's called an IPO, or initial public offering on the NASDAQ stock exchange. That was quite the ride. I'm older than I look. And then in 2009, I sold my last business and I started over with this crazy idea that there has to be a way to use my business growth skills to make the world better. And so I set up like a purposeful Shark Tank, and that's Share on Purpose. That's our holding company. Share on Purpose has a speculator fund, so we invest in purposeful ideas. This is one of those ideas, Your Izzy. It's the first zero waste makeup and skincare line. So that's an example. And then we also have the Cultivator. The Cultivator creates companies. ShiftCo is one of the companies that we created. ShiftCo was actually combined with some of the customers who used my other business, pushed me to create ShiftCo, and also became investors in it as well. So needless to say, I'm into this business growth thing. And in particular, I want to grow businesses that are really trying to do good in the world. And hence, here we are. So Lisa is here and she's going to help me. I want to take some information from you. But when I ask people the hardest part of building a business, they almost always say gaining new clients or some variation of that. So I want to ask for a question. One is, do you think that's one of the hardest things? And then secondly, why does it seem hard? And feel free to either come off mute and shout it out or put it in the chat. And if you put it in the chat, Lisa is going to help me be your vein of voice. So why is it so hard to gain new clients? Anything coming in yet, Lisa?
No, I'll shout them out if they come in.
I will offer that it feels like there's an awful lot of noise to compete with to get their attention.
Ooh, yeah, that's going to really line up with what we're talking about today.
Feels like a numbers game. It's hard to know which of the services I offer is most relevant, pertinent to each prospect I speak with.
The negative stigma that holds behind occupation.
Most projects are like one-offs as opposed to repeat business.
Yeah, that'll also tie to today's session as well. Okay, so from experience, 2 things that you have to master to get clients on a consistent basis is, one is you need more people aware of what you're doing. I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. But the second thing is you need more interest in buying from you, quite honestly. Just think about if you had people that were raising their hands and saying, hey, Terry, I want to learn more about what you're doing. Tell me more about it, or can I meet with you and learn more? it would be a lot easier to get new clients. And so this particular session is set up to help you with those two things. And believe it or not, you're going to walk away today with really actionable tools and a step-by-step process on how to do those two things. So most of the time when we talk about some of these types of things, people are already trying things. And so what I want you to, you don't need to shout it out or put it in the chat, but I want you to be really honest with yourself. If you are out there, you're networking, you're speaking, you're podcasting, whatever you're doing, posting on social media, are potential buyers responding? And don't give it a maybe, give it a yes or no, and then give it a percentage, 20% of the time, 50% of the time, 80% of the time. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to self-assess. And then I'm going to show you some methods so that if you get more awareness, more people will respond. And again, you don't need to share the specifics, but I do want you to self-assess. Okay, so we've self-assessed, and now we're going to get into solving this problem. So the first thing is there's actually two sales. The methodology that we teach is called authentic demand generation. I created it for myself, for my own businesses, and then I do it for other clients through my two marketing companies, and now I train people how to do it in Shiftco. But the idea behind it is that when you're selling, you're actually building relationships. And so what we do is we call those relationships friend, follower, fan, and fanatic. When you look at the two sales, the first sale is actually awareness and interest. So I need more friends, i.e., I need more contacts on LinkedIn or wherever my target market is. And I need more people that really want to learn more about what I'm doing. They're interested. That is the first sale. The second sale is when they want to buy from you and they actually do it. And that's the second sale. And that's technically selling, where the purchase is made. And when most people think about selling, they think about the second part, but they don't actually think about this first part. Technically, this first part is called marketing, but I like to think of it as the first sale because there is an effective way to do it. Now, before we get into how to generate awareness and how to increase interest, I want to give you some perspective. I teach founders to have awareness building be 70% of the time that they have available for sales and marketing. So if I have 10 hours a week available for networking and speaking and posting on social media, 70% of that should be dedicated to awareness. Most of the time when I assess a business, either when they're hiring one of my marketing companies or I'm teaching a founder, they're not spending enough time and energy on awareness. So that's number one. I am going to talk about that today, but most of what we're going to talk about today is how to get more interest from the awareness that you are doing. That interest part is partly learning how to talk about your business, but also learning how to package it in a way that the buyer is interested in opening the package. When it comes to actually selling, believe it or not, that's 5% of your time, because what you've done is you've got enough people that are aware and interested. They're coming to you and they're wanting to meet with you. And then it's either, is it a fit? Is it not? Is it the right time? Is it not? Can you afford it? Not. That's a very small percentage of the time, but most of us don't think like that. Most of us think in terms of, I need to focus more on sales, but actually what we need to do is we need to focus more on marketing. Now, if the value is high, customers will return and refer. If you're getting a lot of business today from referrals, that's great. That means you're a truly conscious business. The challenge is it's not scalable. So we have to put this system in place. And in particular, we've got to spend 90 to 95% of our time on awareness and interest building, which is what this class is. The topics we're going to cover is, first is awareness is key. How do you actually do it? And I'm going to cover that before and after the interest part. Second is we're going to talk about how interest speeds up the process and it shortens your sales cycle. Then we're going to tie those two pieces together and talk about those 4 phases. So let's start with awareness. Even a funnel, if you've heard about click funnels and lead magnets and things like that, which I'm not a fan of because I think they're inauthentic, but all of them start with awareness. And the reason why it's called a funnel is because the first thing that happens top of funnel is people have to be aware that you exist. Believe it or not, the vast majority of businesses that aren't growing consistently and predictably, it's not a sales issue, it's an awareness issue. You need more awareness. You probably need 3 to 10 times more awareness than you have today. The second is being interested in what you have to offer and say. Third is they need to have desire for it, which means they need it and they want it. And then lastly is they need to be able to take action. Typically what that is they need to be able to afford what it is that you do. And so the challenge with funnels is the goal of a funnel is to get someone to buy. But what a funnel typically doesn't help people with is the awareness. And if you think about it, if I only had 10 people that were aware of me, I might get one, maybe one that would be willing to buy from me. But if I got 100 that were aware, I would have more people that bought. So that's an example of what I mean. I'm going to give you actual statistics. I've studied this for decades. And I can tell you specifically based on the type of business you have, how much awareness you actually need. Now, what I tried to do is to take the same funnel concept, but make it more authentic. And that's how we came up with the friend, follower, fan, fanatic that I just showed you. But I want to pinpoint for you how much awareness you actually need. So within these two sales, we have to expand awareness. We've got to attract more leads so that they're interested, and then we can improve sales conversion. Let me give you some statistics. If you sell to businesses, that's called B2B. You're a business, you sell to a business. For every 10 to 100 clicks or connects that you make, only 2 to 5 of those are likely to be interested if you're good, and you'd get 1 to 2 new sales. And that's as if you're really good at it. If you're average at it, which most of my career I was average at it, these numbers are worse, right? So just think about how many people, how many new potential buyers you're meeting. You'd need to be, if you're perfect, 10 in the right industry, but most it's as high as 100 new people that you're meeting to get 1 to 2 new sales. Now, don't let that freak you out. I'm going to give you some strategies to make it better, but it's a lot more awareness. If you sell to consumers, it's even higher. And I've got several businesses of my own that sell to consumers, and I've got several clients of my marketing companies. I can tell you it's a lot of clicks and exposures on that side. It's 100 to 1,000 to get 10 to 20 in cart. And then of the 10 to 20 that put you in the cart, only 1 to 2 actually make the purchase. And again, these are global numbers. So I want you to assess for a second, is your issue awareness or is it interest? We're going to cover both of those today, but I want you to self-assess that. Most of the time, it's not conversion, even though we think it is, it's awareness and interest. So reflect on that for just a second, and then we're going to get to addressing this issue. All right, starting first with awareness. So rather than think of it as a funnel, I want you to think about it in terms of the relationship that you're building with potential buyers. So aware that you exist is friends. Right now, several of you, this is the first time you're meeting Shifco. Technically, we're friends right now. Not the kind of friends like we're the best friend, but friends in the era of social media. That does not mean that you're interested in buying, and it does not mean that you will buy. It just means you're aware and you showed up for today's webinar. Now, interest is, hey, you're really teaching me something I don't know. I'm a follower of you. I'm going to stay for the whole webinar. This is really interesting to me, but I'm not necessarily sure I want what you have or I need what you have, but I'm willing to stay for the webinar. Desire is, hey, I'm a fan. I might try more of your webinars. I might even buy once. And I really do want what you have. And then act is, if it's good, I will not only continue to buy, but I evolve into a fanatic. And ultimately, what you want are more fanatics. But in order to do that, the trouble is right here. and right here. If we get better at these two things, you'll have plenty of fans. And over time, if you provide good service, you're going to have lots of fanatics, which makes everything easier. So that's awareness. I'm going to come back to awareness in a minute, but I want to move to interest because I want to show you how the two connect, and I want to show you what it has to do with packaging and offers. And then we're going to come back and we're going to look at the whole thing again. And I'm going to walk you through steps of how to do this. So authentic relationship building starts with awareness and interest, as we spoke about in a minute. That's the first sale, and it is the most important piece for you to master, not selling, but the marketing side, building awareness and generating interest. What I found from my own businesses, as well as the two marketing companies that I have, is if I can generate more interest from the awareness, the whole thing, my sales cycle gets shorter and my sales go up. Okay, so that's really what packaging and offers do for you, is they help you with that. First, I want to help you with some terminology because different people talk about these in different ways. And this is an area I feel very strongly about, but packaging is how your product or service is organized for sale. And I'm going to give you some examples of some brands that you know to show you what I mean by that. Offer is how it's sold or how it's delivered. So just know I'm going to make a distinction throughout today's webinar between packaging and offers, and I'm going to show you the two. So in a physical product, it's a lot easier to see. So here's your Izzy. Obviously, this is one of our investments. It's one of my all-time favorite products in the world. I have every one of their products. I pay for it as a customer, and I love it so much that I invested. In a physical product, it's easy to see. Here's the packaging, basically zero waste makeup. It's steel, it's 100% recyclable. I buy it, they ship it to me, I use it. They ship me a new one. I put the old one in the packaging and I send it back. So that's packaging. And then offer is the price and what you're selling it for. Really easy to see in a physical product. We'll use another product that everybody knows, Starbucks. What are Starbucks offers? In Starbucks case, they actually start to combine their packaging and offers together. So venti, grande, tall, short. Technically, those are the offers because that's how it's organized for sale and there's a price. The packaging, however, is everything else. And if you know anything about Starbucks growth, it was really the experience and the way that they packaged the product, from the cup, from the top, to that little wraparound thing that they use, to the little thing that they stick to make sure you don't spill the coffee. Starbucks mastered the packaging as well as the offers. And even though most marketing people would have said, don't ever use names that people don't know, Starbucks was able to grow beyond that and was able to train us to use their language, which is fascinating. So that's an example of packaging and offers. Now let's look at services. So we're going to use two competitive companies. This is a marketing services company, and I've hid their information. This is how they have packaged it. So imagine if you were buying marketing services and you were going to them for help and you had to comb through all of this information. I'm lost, like it's too much information, which is what most people list on their website. They list what it is that they do. I want to contrast that with Ignite. This is Ignite's packaging. Do you want to generate demand? Notice these little things down here. Do you want to grow more? Do you want to optimize sales? Do you want to sell more? Or do you want to maximize profit? So think about the difference if you hit these two websites. Which one are you more likely to click to learn more about? Basically, it's going to be Ignite because it's easier. It's organized in an easy to understand way. Now, the offer for Ignite is it's a retainer. And then we do this on a pay for performance bonus basis. That's the offer. To generate demand, optimize sales, and maximize profits, that's the packaging. Okay, so you can see the difference. Let me use another one. This is a membership organization. Again, I've hidden the names. Here's everything up here. See how packaging and offers is all glommed together? Contrast that to this one. So up here you have the package. They have two packages, pay as you go or premium membership. And then you have the offer, and then you can see how they've compared them. Again, two very similar organizations packaged very differently. This is one of my all-time favorites to see. This is a fitness trainer. We've probably all used a fitness trainer. The fitness trainer, their offers are 1 workout a week, 2 workouts a week, or 3 workouts a week. That's the offer, but here's the packaging. Do you want to get fit? Do you want to get lean? Or do you want to get big? Buyers respond to packages before they respond to offers. Think about Starbucks. Think about your Izzy. What sold me on this was, oh my God, when I took it out of the little bag and I felt it in my hand, the packaging was so amazing, and the way that it was organized and the way that it was shipped to me. So buyers respond more to packaging than they do to offers, yet most founders are putting their offers first. And that's what I want to help you with today. A couple of pieces of advice, and then I'm going to walk you through the steps using Shiftco. Having fewer packages is better. If you remember that marketing company that I showed a minute ago, that's too much for me to digest, contrasted to this. So fewer is better. That's my first kind of rule of thumb. Second is broader is best. Too often we try to make things too narrow and it's too difficult for the buyer to comprehend. Another thing you can do is you can think of them in terms of a shape, hence Starbucks, small, medium, and large, or preferences like chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. Now, it is never about price, no matter what a buyer says. I rarely find an industry that you can dramatically alter sales dramatically by changing the price. In most cases, we're talking a small movement of the revenue needle based on price. And we all know same product can be offered by 2 different companies in 2 different ways. And some people will pay more for it, i.e. Apple, and others will buy a lower priced product. So don't get hung up on the price or the offers just yet. We want to focus on the packaging and making it value based. So 4 steps. I'm going to walk you through the 4 steps, and I'm going to actually show you how we did this for Shiftco. So first is you have to know who your buyer is, and you have to know what their problem is. And in particular, you want to know what they need, which is what they're thinking, and what they want, which is what they're feeling. So that's step number 1. In the case of Shiftco, our buyer are founders who want to grow their business. So that's the want. And they also want to be part of the community. In our case, they're both needs and wants. So they really, really want to grow their business, but they also want to do it with other people. They like being in community. They like sharing leads. They like getting to know more people. So that's the problem. The second thing you ask is, well, how do they consider? How are they going to consider options, option A versus option B? In our case, our buyer wants results, and then they want to know the caliber of the community. And then the next thing you think about is, what's the expectation that you're setting? In our case, we communicate we are the business growth platform for entrepreneurs who want to make the world better. So that's all step 1, and you can do that on your own when you listen to the recording. Now you go to step 2. And here's where you really think about your points of differentiation. How do you do this better than anyone else? And how can you back that up? In our case, we use results to back it up. Now I want to go back a couple of slides. Why do we use results? We use results because the buyer cares about results. If your buyer doesn't care about results, then don't use results. If your buyer cares more about quality, then focus on the quality. So you really have to think in terms of, how do you solve this in a way that really matters to your buyer? Our buyer cares about results. So guess what? We talk about 88.9% of the founders have doubled their revenue. We estimate we generated 33 million in revenue impact to our members' businesses over the 5 years we've been in business. And then 97.8% stay with us each month. So that results is one of the key drivers, hence we talk about it. So don't just copy this. Really think about what your buyer cares about as you're putting your strategy together. Now, step 3, I like to put step 3 and step 4 together. You want to think about what are the top 3 benefits from working with you, and then how do you organize this for sale? So again, I'll use Shiftco as an example. We do a lot of stuff, and anybody that's in Shiftco can tell you it is highly customized and highly individualized. It's not cookie cutter. Everybody's not in the same program. Literally, people join every other day and they're going different ways. So if I listed all of the things that we do, you'd be confused. Instead, we basically put the packages together in terms of benefits. You're going to grow your business, you're going to evolve as a leader, and you're going to be part of a like-minded community. Those are the packages. Now, those are not the offers. I'm going to show you the offers in a minute. What we do is we group the benefits together in 3 benefit language packages, okay? And this is where people get confused, is they put their offers as the packages. Here's your 3-person image ratio, here's your video image, they put their offers together, but they don't put the benefits forward facing. The benefits have to be forward facing. The packages should be the benefits. Now you put those things out there. So we've got all of these, we've got it organized for sale. Now you put the offer. The offer is, how is it priced and organized for sale? Here it is with Shiftco. If you're in launch or shape, which means your business is under 30K a month, you're going to pay $235 a month. If you're build or evolve, which means your business is under 2 million, you're going to pay $270 a month. And if you're above 2 million, you're going to pay $390 a month. That's the offer. You see the difference? The packages are related to the benefits. All right, let me just stop and see if there's any questions, and then we're going to go back to awareness and put it all together. Questions so far? All right, I'm going to keep going. So now we're going to put it all together, and then I'll stop at the end, stop the recording, and take more questions. And you'll get a copy of this recording so that you can go back and do it for yourself. So back to these 4 phases of demand generation we talked about: friend, follower, fan, fanatic. Think about it as building relationships, not marketing and not selling. Even though the first 2 are technically marketing and the last 2 are technically selling, think about it as building relationships. Think about you right now. You became aware of Shiftco. You attended this webinar. Almost everybody that attended is still here. So there must be some interest. That doesn't mean that you want to buy. It doesn't mean that you will buy. And quite honestly, that's not my focus. My focus is awareness and interest. I'm serving you and building a relationship with you rather than quote unquote trying to sell. So this time frame, the bulk of your time is spent in awareness and interest, and packaging makes it so that it's more interesting and it's easier for people to wrap their mind around, not what you do. And I'm going to say this 3 times 3 ways, but the benefit of what you do. So this packaging makes it quicker and easier and faster for people to understand what you do by having it organized, but also they internalize the benefit of what it is that you do. People buy benefits. They don't buy from the offer. They buy from the benefit. So you want to combine the benefit language with the way that it's packaged and organized, and then you want to put the offers together after that. When we finish this here in a minute, I'll pause and I'll literally take whatever time we have left, which should be a good 15, 20 minutes. We'll take any of your businesses and I'll show you how to do this for your business. But I don't want to miss the fact that this packaging part is what draws people in. It's the lean in factor. Like, oh, wow, you're going to help me grow my business? Let me learn more about that. It causes people to be interested. If I went in and talked about you're going to be in phase pods and you're going to be in squirt circles and you're going to have this and you're going to have coaching groups, and you have mentor. If I talked about all that, it would be like too much noise and you can't cut through the clutter. To cut through the clutter, you keep those packages nice and simple, nice and clean, but the language that you use has to be benefit language. Okay. Now let's go back to finding more friends. How do you find more friends, which is awareness? Where is your buyer now? Key is you have to go where they are. If you are just posting on social media, think about it. Those people already know you. When you post on your social media pages, the people that are already following you are already aware. all you're doing is reminding them that you're there. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't post. What it means is post, but you also have to get more followers following you, and you've got to build new relationships so more people are following you. Second, think about what you can share that will help them and connect you. Needless to say, our best tools are the things that we actually do for our members. Why do I offer all these free events? A, because I care about growing your business, but also because I want you to see what SHIFCO is like, meet the actual people that are here, and actually see the caliber of our content. And if you think about it, if the content we're delivering is this good and it's free, imagine what it's like when you're paying $235 or $270 a month. That's an example of how I can authentically share with you and help you and connect you with us. And then when you're ready to buy, you'll buy. And then lastly, and this is kind of my mantra, is how can you serve people until they're ready to buy? We do 3 or 4 free events a month. Attend as many as you want. When you're ready to buy and get the next level of support, come on in. So this idea of setting up a system where you're constantly building awareness, you're sharing things with people that will help them, will show them the value of what it is that you do, and you just keep serving them until they're ready to buy. So here's some ways that you can generate awareness. The first is what we call priority channels. I'm not going to talk about partner or paid because I don't want to get off track. In every one of my businesses, in every investment that I've made, in every founder that I've coached, which is now thousands in the 10 years that I've been doing this, I use the same starter list. It's kind of like a little menu. And I always say, start with BST. It's blood, sweat, and tears. Easiest thing to do is to approach people you already know. Second is do some free or discount trials. Believe it or not, one of my best strategies are these little leave behind cards. I have these for all of my businesses. If I ever come to your city, I'm going to put these everywhere I go. And there's no offer. There's nothing on here. It's usually a quote and some type of a QR code, some kind of an inspirational message. And I put them everywhere I go in any city that I'm in. Those are like the easy, low-hanging fruit. Relationship activities, live networking. Believe it or not, you can be very efficient doing LinkedIn and Facebook group networking. Again, all of the businesses that I built, that's where I started. Referral activities, ask for referrals, give referral discounts, educational blog posts, webinars, and tools. Needless to say, I'm a big fan of both of those. Digital and social, speaking. And then net is I always say, start with these first. You can generate a significant amount of demand by identifying 3 things that you enjoy doing. So I would go through this list and I would say, all right, I like virtual networking on LinkedIn. I like doing webinars, and I like to offer free programs. Those would be my 3 ways. And then I'm going to put it out there everywhere that I can of the things that I'm doing. And lo and behold, awareness begins. Couple of things to think about is, and here's an example of what I mean by serve before you buy. So needless to say, I talked about SHIFCO and all of the amazing events. But I also do this through one of our other most well-known brands, and we offer these free quizzes. And these are super popular. We probably get anywhere from 30 to 70 leads a month by people liking the caliber of those quizzes. So that's an example just to get you started. The purpose of these tools, and this is where people get off track with lead magnets, you've heard that term, is the goal of a lead magnet or a click funnel is to get someone to buy. I don't believe that works in today's society. I think people are over marketed to, and I think they're burned out on it. So that my philosophy of serve people before they buy and build a relationship with them is really the key in terms of how you do that. And then lastly, and then we'll wrap up and I'll take some questions, is if you share tips and tools with your current clients, they are reminded to share it with others because it's an authentic relationship. Over 60% of the members that we get now in SHIFCO came from a referral. And a lot of times somebody just shared a blog or a free event or something like that with somebody. And they're like, hey, I'm getting a great experience. This might help you go attend this event. That speeds up the whole process when you use those tools because your fanatics, the people who love what you do, can then share it and can get you more awareness. So that's a great little tip. So wrapping up, and then I'll take some questions. attend the networking event. 60 to 90 people are going to be at that event. Typically, it's one of our largest attended, and you're going to walk away meeting great people and getting great ideas. Also, on the personal feel side, if you want to have more meaning in your life, you can attend the Purpose program. That will be on August 22nd with one of our master teachers. Let me pause the slide